We are on over here. On over here. On over here. Let's see. There and there. All right, cool. Good morning, everybody. As y'all are checking in, good morning, Tiger Torres. Good morning to you. Congrats on being the first person in. We're going to get started in about 45 seconds. Let me make sure every platform is populating properly and everyone's in. We are live on LinkedIn. We are live on Facebook. We are live on X. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Rumble. We are live on Instagram. And we are live on TikTok. Or live on TikTok and alive at the same time. Shout out to the Wi-Fi. I continuing to work. I was at the gym this morning and for some reason their Wi-Fi wasn't working. So shout out to everybody whose Wi-Fi is working. Our topic here today, 3 levels of people. I'm going to explain to you what each level is. I'm going to tell you what each level means, and I'm going to tell you what to do specifically once you identify and recognize the level that the people with whom you deal is at a certain level. So this is not about, it is about you, but it's also about your associations. What this is really about here today is about you taking control of your associations and editing the associations that you have and the decisions that you make around those associations. That's what today's topic is about. So just to set your proper expectations, because what I'm going to do here today is I'm going to explain to you, first of all, what level of each of these people that you are already dealing with, people who you already know, people you're already associating with on a regular basis. And I'm going to tell you which category, or I'm going to tell you how to decide which category each of these people is in. And then I'm going to tell you what decisions you need to make around how you continue to or discontinue dealing with those people based on that information. And at the same time that I'm doing that, I want you to check yourself on everything that I say and ask yourself, which level of person am I? Because all of us occupy one of these levels, not all of them, one of them. And as I go through them, you're going to listen to what I'm saying, and you will make your own decisions as to what level you're at and what edits or changes, if necessary, you may need to make if something applies to you and you want to put yourself into a different space. Okay, so this is all about the editing process. Any of you who've done any type of creating in your life, whether you make videos on TikTok, whether you write books, whether you have ever shot or recorded a movie or a music video, many of you understand that the editing process is the most important process of the whole thing. So yes, the creation is fun and good to do, but the editing is what turns the raw material into a finished product. And this is exactly what I want to talk about here today when it comes to your relationships, your connections, and your understanding of the law of association, which was going on, Sugar Rush, good morning. Law of association states you become the average of the people you spend the most time with. Right? All of you have heard that before, right? So today, I'm going to tell you what type of person you're becoming based on the type of people you're dealing with. Everybody got it? Good. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dre Baldwin. Many know me as Dre all day. I'm a former 9-year pro athlete, author of 35 books, done 4 TEDx talks, created this brand called Work on Your Game. What we do here is we help people like you perform at your highest level, do so consistently, and produce more results. Now, for us to do that, we need to know what kind of results you want to achieve. So any of you listening to this right now and you have some certain results that you want to achieve and you want to be able to perform at your best to achieve those results on a consistent, predictable basis, I suggest you go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. That's the link in my bio, wherever you are watching me here. That's where you can take the next steps of working with me directly. I'll tell you more about that at the end here. So I got 3.4 points I'm going to go through here today, and let's get to it. Point number 1. And again, I'm going to tell you the 3 levels of people that we are, that you deal with on a daily basis and what you should do about once your understanding of what each of these people is and what they're going to do to your life, the more that you associate with these folks, again, more or the less. I'm going to tell you what the 3 levels are, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to give you a point about how to start applying this even more directly. And I'll take all questions at the end. So if you have a question or comment that you post while I'm talking, when I'm done, I'll go through the comments and I'll address them. Point number 1. First level of person is what we call the 2-minute individual. 2 minutes. Now, all you know what 2 minutes is, right? The 2-minute individual is a person who usually this is a person who you've known for a long time, but it could be someone who you just met. And this is a person who you probably have some history with, which is why the relationship exists, because you've known them for a while. And these can be your family members. They can be people who you've grown up with. If you worked at the same job for 10 years, it could be somebody who's a coworker. and you tend to have some fond memories of or with this person because you've known them for so long. You probably have some times you can remember when you and that person had some fun together, or you were laughing, or some mutual experience, some shared experience that you have. These people tend to be, when I say a 2-minute person, they are generally usually good people. They're good, solid people. You know them, you like them, you trust them. You may even love them if they're a family member or a long-time friend. All right, so a 2-minute person is not necessarily a bad person. I'm saying all that to lay that foundation. And now I'm going to add in the however. Here's the thing about a 2-minute person, what makes them a 2-minute person. This person is not looking to travel on the same path to success that you are traveling on. They're not looking to make themselves better the way that you are looking to make yourself better. All right, you're trying to go to a certain destination right now in your life. This season of your life, you're serious about where you want to go. The 2-minute person is a person who's not really trying to go there. They're not really on that path. So you're a person who's deciding, you know what, I want to make some changes in my life. I want to get serious about my business or about my career or about my family or about my personal growth. And that's what you're focused on right now. The 2-minute person sees you doing that and they understand that that's what you're doing, but they are not on the same wavelength as you. They are just not interested in that type of thing, getting better and growing and getting serious about their business or their family or their life. They're just not there right now. And this doesn't make the 2-minute person a bad person. And the reason why it doesn't make them a bad person, because every one of us has free will to do what we want. So some of you are really ambitious and you have these big goals that you want to achieve. That's your choice. There are other people out there who are not ambitious and they don't have big goals that they want to achieve. And guess what? That is their choice as well. It is their right to not want to be as ambitious as you are. And thusly, again, this is all relative. This is why the 2-minute person is a 2-minute person. So the reason I said is relative is you have to understand some of you, maybe you're not ambitious. Maybe you don't have big goals. Maybe you don't have a whole bunch of great things that you want to achieve in life. Maybe you're okay with the position that you're in right now and you're okay just staying there. So for you, what would be considered a 2-minute person is not the same as what would be a 2-minute person with someone who has really big goals and big dreams. You understand? Because if someone is trying to go like up and to the right and they want to go to a level 100 and you're okay being at a level 10, then you would be a 2-minute person to the person who's trying to go to a level 100. But to another person who's just trying to go to a level 10, you're equal. You're probably good with them. You can spend more time with them. I'll get to that in my second point. So for you, each one of you individually, you have to decide who's a 2-minute person, because a 2-minute person is a person who's not on the same wavelength as you. They're not on the same trajectory as you. They do not have the same goals and visions and ideas and aspirations as you. Therefore, as we already understand the law of association, you become the people you spend the most time with. Therefore, it makes no sense for you to spend a lot of time with this person because y'all are going in 2 different directions. And you're probably not going to pull them up to thinking like you. I've tried this. It does not work. So any of you have tried it, stop trying it. It's not going to happen. You cannot make a person change if they don't want to change. I'll talk about how you can influence it in a moment. And also, it's more likely that a 2-minute person is going to pull you down to being more like them than it's likely that you're going to pull them up to being like you. Why is that? Because the natural state of human beings is we are naturally lazy. We naturally want to conserve energy, mental energy, physical energy, emotional energy. And the law of inertia states an object in motion tends to remain not in motion. Object in motion tends to remain in motion until or unless acted upon an outside force. And also the law of entropy, which is a scientific law, not a theory. The law of entropy states that any device or entity left to its own usually falls into decay and into a state of chaos. Meaning, if you do absolutely nothing and you try nothing and you have no aspiration, no dream, you just sit there and do absolutely nothing, you will not get better, you get worse. So the default state of a human being doing absolutely nothing is to get worse. Does everybody understand this? That's the default state of humanity, to get worse. If you want to see an example of this, think of if a person went a whole month or 6 months or a year and they never brushed their teeth, they never floss. What would happen to their teeth? They would have a whole lot of issues in there, right? Think if you have a lawn or a garden outside of your house, or you walk past a lawn or a garden somewhere where nobody ever cuts the grass, nobody pulls the weeds, nobody picks up the trash, nobody makes sure that people don't have their dogs pissing and pooping in the grass. What happens to that lawn? It starts to look like an abandoned house because nobody's taking care of it. So the natural state of humanity, anything that's left to its own usually gets worse. Okay, so if you do nothing at all, you're going to get worse. In order to get better, you have to be intentional, you have to be conscious, and it takes energy. Therefore, this is why I'm saying that when you're dealing with a person who doesn't have the same dreams and hopes as you, it's easier for them to get you to be like them than it is for you to get them to be like you. And this is why you shouldn't spend time around people who you have categorized as too many people, because they simply don't want to go where you want to go. And again, it is their right to not want to go where you want to go. They don't have to want to get better just because you do. And this is the challenge for human beings, period, because we tend to get emotionally connected to people the longer we're around them. Again, your own family members, your coworkers, your friends that you've known since you were a kid. We tend to be emotionally connected to these people, even when we realize that continuing to hang with this person is pulling you backwards rather than pushing you forward. This is the challenge. The challenge is not categorizing the people. I'm going to give you the categories, and when you hear it, logically, you're going to understand it. Like, damn, Jerry, that makes sense. The challenge is not you understanding what I'm saying. The challenge is what you're going to do about it. Because if you are deeply connected to a person, even though you have realized in this first point so far that they're a 2-minute individual, meaning you should only be spending 2 minutes at a time with this person, it's going to be hard for you to do it because you've known them for 20 years. How you going to walk away from somebody you've known for 20 years after I just told you they're a 2-minute person? That's the hard part. Not the hard part is not understanding it. The hard part is what you're going to do. So again, as I told you, too many people are usually good people. That's the reason why you've known them for so long. If they were a bad person, you wouldn't have known them as long as you've known them. You would have stopped talking to them a long time ago. They're not a bad person even today. They're still a good person. They're just not going where you're trying to go. All right. So if you're, for example, you're on a path to self-improvement, right? You want to self-improve. So you're going to events and you're hiring coaches and you're signing up for courses and you're reading books and you're all into this personal development stuff. And you got this guy on a live stream talking about personal development and you're listening to this stuff. Y'all understand not everybody's into this stuff, right? Y'all understand that, right? Y'all understand that the whole world does not want to hear this. All right? Even if they don't know that I exist, there are people out there who, if they knew I existed, they would listen to this. But there are other people, even if they knew exactly what I was talking about, they say, I'm not interested. I'm not into that. I ain't into that. All right. Some people are just not into growth, and that's okay. Okay. They are not into reading books and listening to podcasts and all that, personal growth stuff. They're just not into it, and that's fine. And this is what I want you to understand. Once you identify someone as a 2-minute person, thank you for that gift, whoever posted that. I'll go through the comments and address that. And I'm address all comments at the end, by the way, anybody who's commenting. A 2-minute person, here's what it means. It means that your relationship to them does not have to dissolve completely, but they become a high and by individual. That's what it means. 2-minute person is a high and by individual. That's the type of person who, when you're out and you see them, it's not that you ignore them. You don't have to shun them. You don't have to unfriend them on Facebook. Don't do any of that. It's when you see them, hey, what's up? How you doing? Give them a handshake, a hug, whatever it is you do with that person. Kiss on the cheek. Hey, how you doing? How's the kids doing? Man, you see this weather? You see the football game last week? All right, cool. I'll see you later. And you keep it moving. That's a 2-minute person. That's what you do with too many people. Again, you don't have to be rude to them. You don't have to be nasty to them. You don't have to say anything negative to or about them. You just give them 2 minutes. That's what they get. They get 2 minutes of your time, and then you keep it moving. Give yourself somewhere to be, and you got to keep it moving. Now, there are too many people that I know. Sometimes I'm out walking with my son or walking to the gym or come back from the gym, and I see people out here who I know. I don't really know them, but I know them because I see them all the time, and they see me all the time. So I'm polite. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Good morning. And every once in a while, they'll say something. They'll ask me a question, or they'll tell me something that's happened in their life, and I'll say, all right, cool, that's interesting. I'm not giving them more than a minute or two of my day, and then I got to keep moving. I got to keep going. Because for me, where I'm trying to go and what I'm trying to do, that person is not on the same page as me. Again, it doesn't make them bad. But I can't give them more than 2 minutes of my time because they ain't worth it. And I'm the one who gets to decide what my time is worth. That's another part that all of you need to understand. You decide what your time is worth. They don't decide. Whoever they is. Other people do not tell you what your time is worth. You tell them what your time is worth by your actions, if not through your words. You don't have to announce this again, but by your actions, you just let people know how much of your time they get. They get as much as you give them. So this is the hard part. Is how much time are you willing to give somebody who should be a high and by person? Are you spending all day hanging with a high and by person? Well, a high and by takes 2 minutes. All right, don't take an hour. Everybody got what I'm saying here? So again, still talk to them, still say hello. Still be friends with them, still like their pictures of their kids' birthday on Facebook. You can still do all that, but they get 2 minutes. Hello, how you doing? How's the weather? How's your kids doing? Send everybody back to school. How's your mom? I ain't heard from her in a while. All right, cool. I'll see you later. Bye. Got it? Everybody clear on that? All right, that's what you do with 2-minute people. All right, you can't hang with them. You're not coming to their party, their get together. Nah, you can't start following them on another app. You're following them on Facebook. No, you're not going to follow them on Instagram. No, you can't do all that. You got to move away from that. All right. Those are 2-minute people. They get 2 minutes of your time. They're 24 hours in a day. So now you still got 23 hours and 58 minutes left. What do you do with that? Let's move on to point number 2. Today, we are talking about the levels of people, 3 levels of people. And this is how the law of association works. You got to know how to categorize people so you know how much to associate with them. So I told you about the 2-minute person. That's the first level. Second level person is what we call the 2-hour person. 2 hours. Now, what do you do with a 2-hour person? First of all, what is a 2-hour person? And by the way, while I'm saying all these things, folks, I'm talking to you about your associations of people you talk to, but I also want you all to be checking yourselves and ask yourself, who are you to the people that you're trying to deal with? Are you a 2-minute person to them? Or are you let's continue. Are you a 2-hour person? So think about how you're being seen by the people you hang with. Do they see you as a 2-minute person? Maybe they do. And is that okay with you or is it not? It depends on who they are, right? Because if they're not trying to go anywhere, you might be a 2-minute person to them, but that's actually good because you're trying to go somewhere. So again, all of this is relative. So the 2-hour person. The 2-hour person is the person who's they're kind of in the middle. Like sometimes they're about something that you're about, and sometimes they're kind of not. So they are kind of wishy-washy. Sometimes they're serious, and sometimes they ain't. Now, these are the people, 2-minute person. Let's just use personal improvement, personal growth as the example, because that's what I talk about. So I'm assuming most of you who are listening to me, you're about that as well. So this is a person, 2-hour person who sometimes they're into that personal growth and self-improvement stuff. So you read a good book on personal growth and you're really excited about the book, and you see this person and you tell them about the book and they seem to be interested in the book. So you tell them where they can get the book. Maybe you send them a link to the book. Maybe you buy them a copy of the book for free as a gift, right? Not for free, but as a gift, and give it to them because you think that maybe they're going to be on the same page as you. And you do that because it'd be cool to have a person who you already know who is on the same path as you, because that's great, right? And if I could get all my best friends since I was 5 years old to be on the same path as me, that'd be perfect. The problem is usually that doesn't happen. But the 2-hour person is a person who sometimes they seem to be going in the same direction as you, but other times they seem to be going in the exact opposite direction. So they're inconsistent as far as what they're about and what they're not about. So one day they're about it and they seem to be on top of everything. The other day they're not about it and they're not on top of anything. So for example, I go to the gym every other day and I run outside every other day. But the gym that I go to, of course, when you go to the gym, you see all the people. So there are certain people who I see in the gym every time I go. I go at the same times on the same days. There's certain people I see in there all the time, and I'm sure that they see me. And those people are the people who I know are serious about working out. But there are other people in the gym who every once in a while I see them working out, or I'll see them coming to the gym all the time for like 3 weeks, and then they disappear and I never see them again. There are people who I used to see consistently at the gym. I haven't seen them in 6 months. They just disappear. That's a 2-hour person. I'm giving you an example. That's a 2-hour person that every once in a while, it seems like they're on it and they're on point and they're focused and they're sharp and they're going to do all the stuff they said they're going to do. And sometimes they feel like that or they perform like that. And then other times it's like, where's this person at? Where'd they go? They disappeared? They die? Where'd they go? Did they move? What happened to them? Nothing happened to them. They just aren't consistent. That's a 2-hour person. So these are the people who are serious sometimes and back on the nonsense other times. So these are the people who, here's the thing about the 2-hour person is that 2-hour people are highly, what's the word that I want to use here? They're easily influenced by the people they're around. There's a line in the Drake song. I remember Drake saying it in the song. 2-hour people get influenced by the crowd very strongly. And I'm saying that in a way I want you all to understand. You should not be strongly influenced by the people you're around, depending on who you're around. So if you put a 2-hour person around a 2-minute person, they start acting like the 2-minute people. And if you put a 2-hour person around the next level person, the highest level that I'm going to give you in a moment, they start acting like them. So in other words, when we talk about personal growth, if you take a 2-hour person and you put them around a bunch of people who are serious about growth and serious about development, and that's all they think about and all they talk about and all they do, the 2-hour person they sound like they belong in that group because they are doing all the stuff. They're reading the books. They're taking the courses. They're getting into programs and joining masterminds and hiring coaches. They're doing all the stuff and saying all the right things when they're around people who are about that. But if you take that same 2-hour person and put them around a bunch of 2-minute people who are about pretty much nothing, and they're just mindlessly scrolling through social media, smoking weed, doing nothing, not achieving anything, not serious about success. They don't even want to hear about success. The 2-hour person will behave just like them. So they are highly influenced by whoever they're around. Whatever environment you put them in, they act like that environment. That's a 2-hour person, which means you don't know what you're going to get out of them. because wherever you put them, they just behave like that. You got to be careful about 2-hour people, because a 2-hour person, again, when they get around you, if you're serious about growth and you're for real, they will be serious about it. But as soon as you're not around anymore, they go back to doing the nonsense. So again, you don't know what you're going to get from this person. So these are people who have to be reminded to, hey, let's get back focused. Hey, let's get back to doing what we're supposed to do. Hey, ain't you supposed to be going to the gym 3 days a week? All right, these are people you got to remind that they got to show up. And too many people never show up. The 2-hour person shows up when you remind them to show up. Again, another example. This gym that I go to is a boxing gym. So there's this guy there. He was saying to me, hey, we should like spar against each other. So those of you who know combat sports, sparring is like boxing, but practice boxing. So you're hitting each other for real, but it's like practice. You're not trying to kill each other. So there's this guy there. We're kind of the same level. I'm not a boxer. My sport was basketball. And I've been trained more than him, but he's been trained too. So he's like, yo, let's spar against each other. So he would say to me, sometimes he would show up to the gym and he would be like, yo, if I come on this day and you come on that day, Dre, then we should just spar against each other. I'm like, all right, cool. And he was like, yeah, I don't always come to the gym, but he's not consistent about what happened. All right, so I just got a visibility restriction on TikTok. I don't know what I said. What did I say? So this is what I mean with TikTok. They just give me these visibility restrictions for no reason. I have no idea what word I said that got me visibility restricted. But anyway, that's I just got that warning on TikTok. I don't know what the hell I said. But anyway, so this guy's like, yeah, let's do that. I guess I won't say the S word that I said about boxing. But anyway, he's like, yeah, I'll come to the gym on this day. And I'm like, all right, I'll be there that day. So he would show up sometimes and we would practice. And then other times I don't hear from him. I haven't heard from this guy in like 3 months. I haven't seen him in 3 months. I don't know if he moved out of town. I don't know if he just canceled his membership to the gym. I have no idea what happened to this guy. And I'm not saying he's this type of person all of his life, because I don't know him from anywhere but the gym. But when it comes to the gym, this guy's a 2-hour person. All right. Sometimes he's on it and sometimes he ain't. I ain't seen the dude in 3 months. I don't know where he is. I've been at the gym. And I remember last time I saw him, he showed up randomly because he was like, he gave me his number, we exchanged numbers. He was like, yo, if you just send me a text the day before and remind me to show up to the gym, then I'll show up to the gym and we can practice together. And I texted him one time and he did show up. But then after that, I was like, I'm not going to text this guy. Like, he knows where the gym is. He pays for the membership just like me. If he actually wants to, he'll show up to the gym. Why would I got to text him? So I stopped texting him and I haven't seen him since. And again, he pays for the gym. So I don't know why he wouldn't show up. The whole point is he's a 2-hour person. All right. He shows up when you remind him to show up, but if you don't remind him to show up, he don't show up. All right. That's a 2-hour person. And these are the people who you give maybe 2 hours when they're acting the way they're supposed to be acting. So anyway, what this means is you give a 2-hour person as much time as they appear to be serious. When they're being serious, you give them 2 hours. And when they're not serious, they get 2 minutes. All right. So they can vacillate between levels. Now let me tell you about the highest level. All right. The level that you want to make sure that you personally are at, and the level of people who you want to surround yourself with. Your friends, your associations, the people you're texting back and forth all day, the people you're following on social media, the people you're subscribed to their email list, they should all be in this third group that I'm about to share that I haven't told you yet. And what we're talking about here today, for those of you who are coming in the middle, we're talking about the 3 levels of people so you can start limiting your associations. So we talked about the person who gets 2 minutes. And we talked about the person who gets 2 hours, 2-minute person, high and by, 2-hour person. Sometimes they're serious, sometimes they're not. The highest level person is the 2 days person. 2 entire days, 48 hours. Now, what is a 2-day person? This is the person who every time you're around them, you feel better, you feel more confident, you feel smarter, you feel more disciplined, you feel more serious about where you're going and what you're going to do. You feel more ready to go and make things happen every time you're around a 2-day person. The good thing about a 2-day person is that you don't have to know them personally. You can have 2-day people who you watch on YouTube. You have a 2-day person who you read their book. You have a 2-day person who you watch their live stream. So a 2-day person, just being around them just makes you feel more activated, disciplined, confident, and ready to go and do things in your life. A 2-day person, usually when you talk to them, let's say if you know them in real life, or if you just hear them talking, so it's not a conversation, but they can say things and you can listen to it. The 2-day person usually has some solid information or ideas or recommendations to help you solve your problems. Anytime you talk to a 2-day person, they give you something and you're like, damn, I didn't think about it that way. I didn't excuse me, consider doing that. But that actually is a good idea. I'm gonna go put that to use. I'm gonna go implement that right now. That's what a 2-day person is like. Every time you deal with them, you feel like you're gaining, and you're getting better and smarter every time you're around that type of individual. That's a 2-day person. To give you an example, when I was playing basketball, this is back when I was probably early 20s. So I was still in Philadelphia, and I think I was in between jobs playing professionally overseas. And I was at the park, the same park that I grew up playing at. Excuse me. I was outside practicing by myself, and these two younger guys, at this time, I'm probably like 23. And these two younger guys, they're probably like 19. They were just walking around the playground, and they saw me at the park. Now, they know me, but I don't really know them like that because they didn't really play basketball. I just knew them from the neighborhood. And they saw me practicing by myself. They was like, "What's up, Dre? What's going on?" I'm like, "What's up?" And they was like, "Yo, let's play." The guy asked me, "Let's play one-on-one." And it was two of them. So one of them was like, "Let's play one-on-one." And I looked at both of them, and I knew this guy couldn't beat me one-on-one. This wasn't even going to be a challenging game for me. So I looked at both of them and said, "Yo, let's play 2-on-1." And then they both looked at me. It was like me against both of them together. And they both looked at each other like, "Yo, we know Dre's better than us. He ain't that much. He can't beat both of us at the same time," which I knew I could. They didn't think I could. I knew I would. So then we started playing 2-on-1. And we played like 3 or 4 games, and I beat them in all the games. They weren't really basketball players. So it's not like I was impressed with myself. But after we got done playing, they were sitting down on the bench after the game, and they were starting to get into reflective mode. So any of you who's played a sport, and you know this, that when you play a sport against somebody who's way better than you, and they basically kick your ass all over the ring or the field or the court, you kind of get into reflective mode. So I can see he was really reflecting on what just happened. Now, again, these guys were not serious about basketball, but in that moment, I guess they were just thinking about basketball. And the guy was like, "Yo, Dre, how often do you come to the park to practice? Because I need to get better. I want to get better at basketball too." Because I think he realized that I was a person who, if he practiced with me, he would probably get better. He was absolutely right. And I told him I'm at the park all the time. Like, they knew me. They knew me from basketball. I didn't hang on the corners. I wasn't hanging at the mall. I was on the basketball court. Everybody in the neighborhood knew me from being on the basketball court. And I told him I'm at the park all the time. And the point is, and I'll tell you the punchline to this in a moment, but the point is, this guy saw me after his experience of losing. His experience was, all right, this guy can make me better. I want to hang around this guy more. So he had the right idea. Now, let me tell you the punchline. I never saw those guys at the park ever again. They never came to the basketball court ever again. So for me, if you understand this, for me, those guys were 2-minute people. On a basketball court, those guys get 2 minutes of my time and nothing more. I played them in the game because it was just a fun experiment. But I would not have worked out with this guy every day, because what is he going to do for me? Nothing. He would have to pay me to work out with me. And he never showed up again anyway, so I didn't have to worry about it. And I knew he wouldn't show up as soon as he asked the question, because I never seen him there before. But for them, I was a 2-day person, because I could help them a ton, but they couldn't really help me. Now, again, doesn't mean you can't help people who are at a lower level, but usually you charge them for it, and you call that coaching. All right, you charge for that. You don't just give it away. The whole point being, this is what a 2-day person, when you're around a 2-day person, you're looking at them like, damn, if I hang around this person more and listen to them more and consume more of what they're doing, I'm going to get a whole lot better. That's how you feel when you're around a person who is a 2-day person. So I want all of you to think about right now, who in your life fits that description. Like, damn, last time I talked to them, and the time before that, and the time before that, and every time I come across this person, I feel like I got something, I gained something, I got smarter, better, faster, stronger, confident, more everything. Damn, I need to talk to this person more often. Who in your life fits that description? And for whom do you fit that description? All right, these are 2 questions. Who do you know who fits that description for you, and who do you fit that description for? Who are the people that look at you the way that you look at that 2-day person? 2-day person always is doing something new. They're always moving forward. They always have something to add or share or to give value to an exchange. That's what makes them a 2-day person. And again, a 2-day person is relative, because those young guys who saw me on the basketball court, I was a 2-day person for them in basketball. But if you don't play basketball and you don't play sports at all, or you play soccer, I wouldn't be a 2-day person for you with my basketball skills, because you don't care about basketball skills. So it's relative. Okay, so there's somebody out there who's an expert at, who knows, basket weaving. They are a 2-day person to someone who wants to learn how to weave baskets. But to someone like me, that's not a 2-day person for me, because they're a 2-minute person for me, because I want to learn what they know. So again, it's all relative based on what value you can give to what people. So you don't need to be for everybody, but you want to be this type of person for the right people. Who are the people who actually need what you're sharing? So a 2-day person is the type of person who, when you're around them or listening to them or consuming their material, you always feel like that there's a possibility that maybe you haven't considered that you can be better than who you are right now. And the reason they're called 2-day people is because if you could, you should spend 2 whole days with this person just soaking up knowledge and soaking up game. If you could. If there was a way to do that, you should do it. If a 2-day person was having a conference or an event, you should buy a ticket and be there. If a 2-day person has a program or a course, you should sign up for it. If a 2-day person is making themselves available to share what they know or answer questions, you should be in there listening to what they're saying. That's a 2-day person. And you need to figure out, for whom are you a 2-day person? That's your business opportunity. That's your business and game giving and growth opportunity. You don't even have to be a business. You could be a mentor to people by being a 2-day person. But who are the people who you can do that for? And I'll take questions at the end, by the way. Again, these are the people you would spend a whole weekend with, hanging with them because you know you're going to get better just by being around them. That's a 2-day person. And if it costs you money to do it, you make the investment. Because what's an investment? An investment is you pay something now and you get more back later. All right. So let me ask you a question. When you think of the 2-day people in your life, the people who fit the description I just given you, would it be worth the money to pay to be around that person as much as possible? Would it be worth it? I think all of you would agree. The answer is yes. All right. So this is where you invest. You invest around people who are 2-day people, again, for what you're looking for. And it could be for a specific area of your life. Maybe a personal trainer is the 2-day person for your fitness. And then this person over here is a 2-day person for your business. And this person over here is a 2-day person for your relationships. And this person over here is a 2-day person for whatever other area of your life where you want to get things right. So any area of your life where you want to take things to a higher level, what you want to look for is this 2-day person. Find out how to get closer to them and then invest whatever it costs to get closer to that person, because that's where your opportunity for growth is, right there with the 2-day person. All right. So this is worth the investment. These are the people you invest with. All right. And point number 4, I got one more point here. We're talking today about the levels of associations and the type of people you are associating with. In a perfect world, you would surround yourself with 2-day people. Your whole world would be surrounded by 2-day people. And these kind of places do exist. They're called masterminds. What is a mastermind? It's when a bunch of people who are all high level, all come together collectively in a group, and they all help each other get better. This is why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, because people who are playing at a high level tend to hang with each other, and people who are doing a whole bunch of nothing, they tend to hang with each other as well. Did you notice this? If you think about it, you'll notice it's very true. 2-minute people tend to hang with other 2-minute people. 2-hour people tend to hang with other 2-hour people, and 2-day people tend to hang with other 2-day people. This is why people become more of who they are. They do not change. In life, most people do not change. They just become more of who they already were the last time you saw them or who they already are today. Funny tongue-in-cheek thing that I say to people is that if you are over the age of 30 and you haven't seen any of your high school classmates in a long time, don't worry, because they're the same person they were the last time you saw them. The only thing that changed is that they got older, fatter, and uglier. All right, nothing else changed. And that's a general rule. Some people do get better, but most people don't. Why? Because most people are hanging around other people who are just like them. And all that does is reinforcing you staying exactly who you are. So in order for you to move up to a higher level, you have to go outside of your current space and go get around people who are in a different space. That takes energy. That takes a breaking of inertia. And it takes the standards. It requires the standards of you going against the law of entropy, which states most things just left to their own get worse. So if you want to get better, you can't just do nothing. You got to do something. If you do nothing, you will descend into a state of chaos and disorder. That happens naturally. Doing nothing, you naturally get worse. You don't have to try. Nobody has to try to get worse. You have to try to get better. This is why most people don't get better, because it takes effort. That's why this is called work on your game. First word, work on your game. And that's effort. And most people don't give effort. This is why most people don't get better. Okay, so those of you right now, understanding that we're not in a perfect world, because I told you in a perfect world, you're around 2-day people. What are you doing in an imperfect world? Because this world ain't perfect, right? Some of your family members are 2-day people, but you got to see them every day. All right, they're always around, right? Some of your coworkers are 2-minute people, but they're in the same office as you for 8 hours a day. What do you do if you're in that situation? Because I know some of you are in that situation. All right, what you need to do is you need to develop a set of mental and emotional earplugs to where you hear what these people are saying and you see what they're doing, but you're not listening and you're not watching. Those are two different things. See, the difference between hearing and listening. There's a difference between seeing and watching. So I can hear what you're saying, but I'm not really listening to what you're saying. There's a difference. So any of you who stuck around a bunch of 2-minute people and you want to become a 2-day person, you have to hear them, but don't listen to them. You have to see them, but don't watch them. Everybody got it? You understand them, but you do not immerse yourself in what they're doing or whatever it is that they're about. So you got to be willing to block them out, even though they're around. So y'all remember that Beats by Dre commercial where somebody is like an athlete just sitting on a bus and there's all this noise happening around them. Then they put the headphones on and it's like all the noise goes away. All right, that's how you got to be. Mentally, you got to be that type of person and get these people away from you. And understand one last thing I got to tell you. No one has a permanent spot in any of these categories. So I just told you about the 2-minute, 2-hour, 2-day person. 2-minute person can become a 2-hour or a 2-day person. 2-hour person can go any direction. And thank you for the badge, whoever just shared that. And a 2-day person does not keep that title just because you were a 2-day person 5 years ago. Doesn't mean you're still a 2-day person right now. You have to continually earn your position. The only one that happens without doing anything is a 2-minute person. So you can be a 2-minute person by doing nothing. But if you want to be a 2-hour or a 2-day person, you got to keep doing something. You got to keep adding value to your environments or adding value to the world to remain where you are. It's like a membership. You don't pay once, you got to keep paying. Every month, you got to keep paying. You stop paying, you lose access. Everybody got it? Let me recap these points. You got a question or comment, put it in the comment section right now. We are talking about the levels of associations, different type of people you deal with. Number one is a 2-minute person. This is the person you say hi, you say bye. Asking about the weather, asking did they see the game last week, and then you keep it moving. This person can't do anything for you. This person is not going to help you move forward. Doesn't mean you completely disassociate, but they only get 2 minutes of your time, and then you keep it moving. Why? Because you need to be selfish about your time. Number two, 2-hour people. These are the people who are in between. Sometimes they're about nothing. Sometimes they seem to be about everything, but they're inconsistent. You don't really know what you're going to get out of them. So when they are serious, then you show them the same things that you're doing and let them be in your space. But when they're not being serious, then you treat them like a 2-minute person and you keep them away. They get 2 hours max until they prove that they're at the higher level, which is number three, which is the 2-day person. This is the person who you want to spend as much time around them as possible because they always make you feel better, stronger, smarter, more disciplined, more confident, more capable. And you always get something new out of them. You always get a new jewel, a new nugget, a new something that you can use and move yourself forward. Every time you deal with this type of person, you would spend as much time as you possibly could around them if you had the opportunity. And when the opportunity is presented, you need to take it. So if they have a program, sign up for it. If they have an event, go to it. If they have a mastermind, join it. If they have a book, read it. Whatever it is that they're doing, if they're a 2-day person, rather, then you want to be around them as much as possible. And with all this said, folks, you want to make sure you are checking yourself and ask yourself, who are you? Are you a 2-minute person? Are you a 2-hour person? Or are you a 2-day person? To which people? In a perfect world, you'll be around only 2-day people, but the world isn't perfect. So if you are around a bunch of 2-minute individuals, like your family members, your cousins, your mom, your dad, your sisters, or coworkers, and you can't get away from them, or classmates, you have to develop a set of mental earplugs, which means you can hear them, but you don't listen. You can see them, but you don't watch. Those are different levels of things, different levels of consumption when you're around people who may not be at the level that you want to be at. This is all part of your mental conditioning, and it is all possible and available to all of you who's listening to me right now. And understand that no one has a permanent spot in any of these levels, except the 2-minute people. Some 2-minute people ain't changing. All right, they're going to be who they are for the rest of life. But all the other levels, especially the 2-day person, you must continue to add value to whoever you're serving to remain a 2-day person. Again, it's a membership. It is not a one-time purchase. It means you got to keep paying every month in order to keep the service, just like your electric bill. So with all that said, questions and comments, put them in the comment section. Let me address them right now. Over on YouTube, God Antisocial said, I can definitely say I'm a 2-day person for a lot of people I grew up with. So it's hard to be around because I gain nothing from being around them and they get everything from being around me. Yeah, exactly. So you want to look to change your environment. I mean, if you're stuck in that environment for now, then cool, and do what I just told you. Listen, but don't hear. I mean, hear, but don't listen. And then as soon as you have the opportunity, you want to get out of that environment and get around people who are higher level people so that they can be 2-day people to you. You can be 2-day people to 2-day persons to other people, but they should be paying you for it. If they're not paying you, then you're giving away your value to people who are not even interested. So over on what app is this? Facebook. Let's see what we got. Facebook, it said my app is using a lot of resources. I probably got too many tabs open, but I didn't get a comment there. Nothing over on LinkedIn. If you got a comment on TikTok, go ahead and post it. I'll do those now. Then I'm going to do Instagram. You got a question or comment on Instagram, go ahead and post it. I'm going to get to that after I do TikTok. WorkOnYourGameUniversity.com. By the way, for those of you who like what you're hearing right now, you like this game that you're getting, you want to make sure you are a 2-day person to the right people and even creating opportunities in business for yourself off of it, go to WorkOnYourGameUniversity.com. Someone named Blind said, what advice would I give to a 23-year-old? I wouldn't give them advice until I knew what they're trying to achieve. So I would need to know what that 23-year-old is looking to achieve before I can give advice. K2 Lit says, I want to be dominant and have a strong mindset and in control of my life. Those are good ideas. I like that direction that you're looking. Now, the question is, what are you going to do in order to get it? God said, good morning. Miss Fab, what's going on? Zai Show said, where'd you graduate from? Did I mention graduating? Well, I graduated from GW Carver High School of Engineering and Science in high school, and I graduated from Penn State in college. Ms. Fab says, my son has autism, but a college degree and 2 jobs. That's what's up. Congrats. Kai Booby, thank you for the Rose badge and the #1 gifter badge. You got it. Kai Booby got the #1 gifter badge. You were in first place. Chocolate Diva, what's going on? Good morning. Data Scientist says, yeah, it'd be time to walk away from the wrong people. That's right. Glow Bree, thank you. Appreciate it. Metric says, how do you deal with those 2-minute people that get upset and turn on you? You don't have to deal with them. You should only gain them 2 minutes anyway. So if they're upset, by the time they get upset, you already moved out. You already removed yourself from the situation because they only got 2 minutes of your time. Them being upset is not your business. Your business is your future and your success. How they feel is not up to you. How they feel is how they choose to feel. Chocolate Diva, 2 minutes. That's right. Kabubi shared this live with more than 10 friends. Thank you, Kabubi, for sharing the live with more than 10 people. So, let's see. Sam said 2-hour life. Yeah. Yellow Man Reed was in the #2 gifter badge spot, and then Yellow Man Reed got the #1 gifter badge. So sorry, Kabubi, you got Yellow Man Reed took the spot back. So it's a battle. I like this battle. Thank you for the gift, Yellow Man Reed. Appreciate you. I got the lightning bolt. Let's see. A word that rhymes with Phil but starts with K. Oh, is that what I said? Oh, is that the word that I violated? I think I only said the word one time. But yeah, TikTok is quick with that. This is like AI bots. Like 2 months ago, I said some word. Oh yeah, I said the R word that has to do with mental restriction. That some people have a mental restriction. That R word. I said that word like 3 times. I wasn't even saying it in that sense. But TikTok kicked me off my live, and they didn't let me go live for 3 days because I said that word too many times on the live. I didn't even know what I was saying because they don't tell you. They just tell you got a restriction, but they don't tell you what you did, which makes no sense. They should. TikTok, if y'all are listening to this, which I know you are, if you're going to give me a restriction, at least tell me what I said so now I can stop using the word. They're not even telling me what happened. It makes no sense. But anyway, Yellow Man Reed, appreciate you. Kabubi said, I spoke with a relative about getting my meals sent to me opposed to making my own meals. Yes, it's a good idea. A lot of people say it just costs more, but we got to factor in how much your time is worth. That's really what it's the time. It's not just the money, it's the time. I don't like cooking, and cooking takes time. I'd rather spend my time doing this than cooking, personally. Okay, Booby. So you got that from me yesterday. So immediate implementation, I like it. Someone said vote Trump because the economy failing. Well, some people will, some people won't. We will see. Chocolate Diva, appreciate it. Let's see what else we got. Ali got the #3 gifter badge. Okay, I like this competition. Thank you, Ali, for the gifter badge. Great morning. I appreciate you. Thank you, Ali. Thank you, Yellow Man Reed. Yes, definitely check out the WorkOnYourGameUniversity.com, by the way, for any of you who wants to take the next step. You like the game you're getting on these. Work on Your Game University. That's where you have me as your direct coach personally to take your game where you want it to be, and you could be that 2-day person for whoever you want to be. Harlem Taylor, good morning. I appreciate it. Top 3 books that influenced my way of thinking. I read so many. It's hard to pick only 3. But I will give you, first of all, 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene is my favorite book. Robert Greene is my favorite author. Second, I would say The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. If you heard of Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, he basically took Think and Grow Rich out of The Law of Success. So The Law of Success is a much bigger book. If you get the audio version, the book is like 25 hours of audio. That's how long it is. The Law of Success. That I will put that as number 2. And number 3 is, I could put so many books in the number 3 spot. I'll give you one that I've been reading and rereading a lot. I can't even limit myself to 3. I've been rereading a lot. No BS Time Management for Entrepreneurs by a guy named Dan Kennedy. 10X is Easier Than 2X by Ben Hardy and Dan Sullivan. And 50th Law by Robert Greene and 50 Cent. So I read so many books, I can't even limit myself to 3. And I got to put my reading list. I'm going to put out my recommended reading list again. We're moving stuff over to a new platform. I'm not doing any coding. So once I get the right stuff in place, I'll put that list out. I probably have read close to 1,000 books. Not all of them excellent, but I can get something out of any book. So it was good while it lasted. Yeah, well, I appreciate this competition. That's a good competition. See, y'all keep that competition going. All right, so let me see what we got over on IG. Tiger Torres XO, good morning to you. Thanks for jumping in. Let's see. Ed with Drez says game ain't for everybody. That's true. Not everybody's on the same path, but that's okay. Everybody doesn't have to be on that path. We serve the people who want to be served. We call it preaching to the choir. All of you heard that phrase before. I call it sell to the buyers. All right, sell to people who actually want to buy your stuff. Don't try to convince somebody to buy something that they don't want. Ed with the dress is interesting. These categories of people can be found at all ages of life. That's correct, 100%. That's a good thing about the material you get from Work on Your Game is that this stuff is universal. These are principles, universal principles that apply across the board. That, again, this started in sports. My background is in sports. And we just translated this stuff over to everyday life in the business. So that's one of my superpowers is my ability to take things and move them from one space to another, break them down, explain them, make it easy for anybody to understand. That's why I do what I do for a living. Just break things down and make it simple and followable and digestible and, most importantly, applicable. So all the stuff that y'all hear me talking about on these, I appreciate you appreciating it and listening to it. Most important thing is that you go implement this stuff. Go actually start using this stuff and put it to work in your real life every day. And I know all of you do different things. You got different situations. Some of you are family people. Some of you are in corporate. Some of you are entrepreneurs. Some of you are trying to figure it out. Some of you are athletes. Some of you are younger. Some of you are older, male, female. All of you come from different spaces. But the good thing about the stuff we share here at Work on Your Game is that you can apply this anytime, anywhere, no matter who you are. And again, that's the beauty of what we do here. And again, you want to work with me directly and applying this stuff to yourself and your life, just go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. We have the levels and different things that we can help anybody, no matter where you are, if you are serious about taking your game to the next level. That's the only thing that you got to do. You got to be serious. If you're serious, we will help you. If you're not serious, that's okay. You can still watch these lives. All right. With all that said, folks, we do these lives Monday through Friday, starting at 8 o'clock. Sometimes starts a little bit late, but Monday through Friday, starting at 8 o'clock is when we do these. So if you like this one, be here tomorrow. We're going to do another one. Topic is to be determined. I choose a topic every morning, just whatever I feel like talking about that day. Sometimes current events, sometimes stuff like this, sometimes mindset based, sometimes relationships, sometimes leadership, sometimes business, whatever I want to talk about that day. But I guarantee you, whatever it is, you're going to get your money's worth. I'm not even charging you for this, but your time is money. So you can get your money's worth anytime you tune into anything that I'm doing. Can't speak for anybody else, but I can speak for me. So everybody, I appreciate your time and attention here. Again, workonyourgameuniversity.com. You want to work with me directly? I'll see you all tomorrow. We out here.